Greetings. Hi guys, I just wanted to do a video, let me put the mouse away here for a minute, on a question that I've been asked many times my opinion on, and this is my opinion, so fair warning. Many ladies have asked me what to do if their husband is against the covering. It's not an easy position to be in. I realize that. When I very first asked my husband if he minded if I covered, at first he was kind of hesitant, so I wasn't sure if he was going to even give me permission or not. Even still to this day, if he asked me to take it off, my answer is I would take it off. The reason why I feel that way is because the scriptures for the head covering call it a dishonor not to cover your head when you're praying or prophesying and so on. It doesn't really call it a sin, that could be a splitting hair point, and some people would say that it's still a sin issue. Some would say not, but regardless, I think that is a lot less strong language than it is in the regards of obedience to your husband. The scriptures are extremely clear on the point you are to obey your husband. In fact, it even calls it a blasphemy not to do so, a blasphemy of the word. And I think that is a much stronger issue. And honestly, ladies, if we really boil it down and just simply use logic, quite honestly, it just doesn't even make sense to cover your head without your husband's permission. It's just something that you really need to get before covering your head. And honestly, it is ultimately just a symbolic piece of cloth. I know some people don't like to hear it reduced in those terms, but that's what it is. It's a symbolic piece of cloth. It doesn't have special magical powers. It's not something that you can do to earn your salvation or earn your way to heaven. It's just something that is asked of us as a symbol of the headship order to show that we're in obedience to that. Yes, it's a very good thing to do, but in the same turn, you don't want to get so hung up on that head covering, and that's what is ultimately just a symbol, and sacrifice something much more important, your marriage. And some people would say that it's silly to say that you're sacrificing your marriage when, it's just a disagreement. But I've actually heard of marriages that have split over this issue. I know one man who emailed me and said he flat out sees the head covering as a symbol of non-submission because his wife covered without his permission. And she doesn't now. That's a good thing. She decided to go ahead and obey her husband. I think most issues of sin, we are to obey God rather than man, of course. But I think this is one issue that just really doesn't apply, but it's just not the same, because it's kind of one of those situations that you can be wrong either way, and you really kind of have to choose. And the language is much stronger that you must obey your husband. And honestly, again, the logic just it defies logic to cover your head as a symbol of submission to your husband when you're not being submissive. This does not make sense. I do think, sure, that it's a good thing to cover your head. Please don't mistake me when I'm doing this video, because obviously I believe in doing so. But just so many times it's been asked of me, because in this situation it's not easy when a lady just comes to the head covering scriptures and feels like she needs to do that and her husband doesn't. So I've had that question many times over the years, and I thought it would be wise to do a video to address that. Of course, you have to pray about it and follow your own leading. If you feel that that's just what you got to do, then it's between you and God and the Holy Spirit. My opinion is just that. It's an opinion. But there it is, for what it's worth. I hope that's helpful to somebody. If anybody has any questions or what have you, please feel free to message me, and I will get back to things as soon as I can. Sometimes I'm slow with messages, I know. It's not intentional. I do my best with them, and there's some things sometimes I probably just don't ever come out to, but I really do try. So, have a very blessed day.